In the wake of George Floyd, I'm sure many parents are thinking, how can I educate my 6-year-old and my 2-year-old? How can I start these conversations at a younger age so they're not happening the way... for me, they happened in middle school and high school.
I've been having these conversations since I was a kid.
I started reading more stories to my family. If the material isn't about cars or planes or space or robots, it can often be kind of hard to get them to pay attention. You want a nana?
There's this impulse to want to make people new to the conversation comfortable. Is that a good thing or not a good thing?
I have no patience for any teacher who's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable talking about race.
Ignorance doesn't mean innocence. Ignorance is the state of seeing something that doesn't make sense and looking away.
We'd been married for 36 years. So for the majority of our marriage, we didn't really talk about race. But since I started down this journey, we've been having conversations. And it's difficult. I think it's because I understand it's a process. And I guess I'm willing to code switch in a way and keep the peace and just dole it out in little morsels rather than heaps of servings of this stuff, right? Yeah, just a little step at a time. It's sort of like feeding a baby. Make it into a digestible piece and give it to him. And if I sense the baby doesn't want to eat anymore, I'll just stop, right? Yeah, and that works. I'm okay with that. I am okay to do that. And someday we'll move up to solid food and bigger portion sizes. But you start with digestible pieces in small amounts and you can take the cue.
We should not be blind to color.
And you move up.
We should embrace it. We should make space for it. We should be conscious of it. We should allow it to impact the dramaturgy of the projects we're working on. We should invite it into the room. We should confront it. We should.
I refuse to allow that to exist in our schools because the violence, the intellectual violence that gets done to kids is damaging and it can break a kid. You need to learn how to talk about race. You need to learn how to create an inclusive space.
There are so many things we should do, but the thing that we should absolutely not do is ignore it. I'm very pleased that more folks are activating around these conversations more commonly these days.
Coming to terms with how white people are racialized in the system.
Why do I have to have this talk with my son? Why don't you have the talk with your
When
son?
I sense his fragility coming up, I usually back off.
But it's so interesting to me that there's a desire to comfort the people who are new to the conversation.
And I don't want to put unnecessary strain in our relationship if I don't
They are
have to.
new to the conversation, and so they're still trying to catch up. But the moment that you press or instigate something that's out of their scope, they then activate their need to be comfortable in that space. People of color have never been comfortable in that space. They've been silenced in that space. They've been killed in that space. We've been having this conversation for a long time.
I've
been having this conversation.
Welcome to the conversation.
Welcome to the conversation.
Welcome to the conversation.